In our last class, we discussed various infectious disease, but we are left with the protozoan disease. So today we will discuss that protozoan disease. Let me discuss. Protozoan diseases. So the protozoan diseases, here we'll discuss two diseases in details. First one is malaria. Okay, so what causes malaria? That you all know that the Plasmodium vivax. Actually, Plasmodium is the genus, so caused by Plasmodium. Okay, so Plasmodium is a protozoa and it has species. The species are P. vivax, P. malariae, and P. falciparum. P means Plasmodium, falciparum. Okay, and this is the most dangerous one. Okay, means it is mostly fatal. It leads to death. Okay, now here the vector, how it is transmitted? It is transmitted through a vector, and that vector is female Anopheles mosquito. ओके सो फीमेल एनोप्लिस मस्क्यूटो आप एग्ज़ाम में अगर पूछा जाए, अगर आप सिर्फ एनोप्लिस मस्क्यूटो लिखोगे तो गलत हो जाएगा. यू हैव टू राइट फीमेल एनोप्लिस मस्क्यूटो. एंड द इन्फेक्टिव स्टेज, ये इन्फेक्शन किस में करता है? ह्यूमन बीइंग में. इन्फेक्टिव स्टेज इज स्पोरोजोइट. Okay, so these are very important, children. Sporozoite is the infective stage, vector is the female Anopheles mosquito, and the most dangerous plasmodium is the Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, now come to the life cycle of this organism. I am giving you a flow chart. एक flow chart मैं आपको पहले दे देती हूँ. Like so, life cycle of Plasmodium. Okay. So what happens? The female Anopheles mosquito when it bites a human being, it injects sporozoites. As I said, this is the infective stage. So the sporozoite, excuse me, the sporozoite enters into the liver cell. It enters into the liver cell, and in the liver cell it multiplies. You know that liver is our storage organ which stores the food. So they get enough food in the liver, they grow in size and they multiply. Okay, so the after multiplication they release from the liver, and now they enter into the RBC. they infect the RBC. Now inside the RBC they start eating upon the, so eat the hemoglobin, and the stage that eats the hemoglobin is known as trophozoite. Okay, and this trophozoite is the feeding stage. Feeding stage. Okay, now this when it eats upon the hemoglobin, after feeding upon the hemoglobin, it releases hemozoin. A toxic substance. Okay, now when this hemozoin is released into प्लाज्मा, आरबीसी में वो फीड करता है कि किसको, हेमोग्लोबिन को, और हेमोग्लोबिन को खाने के बाद वो क्या रिलीज करता है, हेमोजोइन, विच इज़ अ वेरी टॉक्सिक substance, and that toxic substance is released into the plasma, and after release of this the fever comes with chill. So now chills plus fever and chills. Okay, now in this condition if the mosquito bites, when the mosquito bites, then what happens, the parasite enters into the mosquito, and the parasite develops in mosquito. Okay, so now in the mosquito it forms the sporozoite, and the sporozoites goes to the salivary gland, okay, and next it bites to another human being. Okay, then bites human being. Okay, now this is the flow chart. Let me tell you. So here you can see when the female Anopheles mosquito, I have given you the flow chart. So as per your convenience, whatever I am saying, you can write in the bracket. Okay, so female Anopheles mosquito when bites, and that female Anopheles mosquito must be containing the sporozoite. It must be containing the sporozoite in its salivary gland. Okay, sporozoite is the infective stage, and when it bites a healthy person, it injects the sporozoite into the human body. Now through the blood circulation it enters into the liver cell, and in liver cell it eats upon the food stored in the liver cell, and it damages the liver cell by multiplying in it. It multiplies, it reproduces in the liver cell, and it releases out of the liver cell. लिवर सेल से रिलीज हो जाता है. रिलीज होने के बाद वो किसको इन्फेक्ट करता है, आरबीसी को. अभी आरबीसी में ये क्या करता है, आपका हेमोग्लोबिन जो है आरबीसी में उसको खाने लगता है, और इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, ये जो स्टेज है, दिस स्टेज में, जो स्टेज में आरबीसी में खाने लगता है, दैट स्टेज इज द फीडिंग स्टेज, एंड दैट फीडिंग स्टेज इज नोन एज ट्रोफोजोइट. ओके, नाउ दिस ट्रोफोजोइट it feeds upon the hemoglobin, and after feeding upon the hemoglobin, it releases a toxic substance that is called hemojoin. The hemojoin is released into the plasma, and when it is released into the plasma, then the fever comes with chill and shiver. Okay, now in this condition, so these parasites are now present in the blood of the human body. So when the mosquito bites the patient, now it is patient, he is having malaria. When it bites such person, then the mosquito, the parasite goes to the mosquito, and the parasite develops inside the mosquito's body. It develops up to the sporozoid. Now it goes to the salivary gland of the mosquito. Okay, and again when it bites another person, it transmits the disease. So this is how the life cycle of the malaria parasite or plasmodium is taking place, and how it infects or how it transmits the disease. Okay, now here, now I will discuss the next human infection हो जाता है. Then इसमें कुछ important points मैं आपको बताऊंगी. The important points are, it requires 2 hosts. So what are the 2 hosts? One is human, which is known as intermediate host. Okay, and other is female Anopheles mosquito. Okay, and this female Anopheles mosquito is the vector. So in the human body, it completes its asexual reproduction. In mosquito body, it completes sexual reproduction. Okay, so its life cycle includes 2 phases, that is sexual and asexual phase. The asexual phase takes place in the human body, and the sexual phase takes place in the mosquito. Now what are the symptoms? The symptoms includes chills, high fever, generally at regular interval, then sweating, and in long term it leads to anemia. Okay, so this is all about malaria. Now come to the next disease, that is amoebiasis. Okay, so amoebiasis is caused by entamoeba histolytica. So we have to underline this separately, and it infects the site of infection is large intestine, and the symptoms includes constipation, abdominal pain, blood in stool, both blood and mucus in stool. Okay, so these are the symptoms, and how it is transmitted. Transmission takes place by contaminated food and water. Okay, and the mechanical carrier is housefly. Okay, so here it is not the vector. When we'll call it vector, when it requires, which acts as a host and for the completion of the life cycle of the parasite. If any organism is required and that transmits the disease, then that is known as vector. But here it is simply carrier, ये कैरी करता है और हाउस फ्लाई के बॉडी के अंदर कुछ चेंजेस नहीं होता, ये बॉडी के अंदर नहीं जाता. हाउस फ्लाई का जो अपेंडेजेस होता है वो अपेंडेजेस से फूड या फिर वाटर कंटामिनेट होता है एंड it transmits the disease. So this is all about your protozoan disease. Now come to some of the preventive measures. I have already discussed some of the preventive measures, but just I am giving you the flow chart. So disease prevention. So this disease prevention can be done by personal hygiene, okay, and public hygiene, then by vaccination and mosquito control, and besides that one more is antibiotics and medicines. Antibiotics and medicines. Okay, so we have already discussed the personal hygiene. The personal hygiene includes clean body. I have already given you in the previous video in details. Clean body, safe water, and healthy food. Okay, now in public hygiene, what are required? It requires waste disposal, proper waste disposal, then clean water. It must be supplied to each and every house. Then sanitation. Okay, so I have discussed up to this, and also I discussed the how to control the mosquito. Okay, mosquito control, it includes your using the mosquito net, preventing the water logging or stagnant water, and gambusia fish also eats on the larvae of the parasite, larva of the mosquito. So in this way we can control the mosquito. So that I have given already in the previous video. So now I will discuss only vaccination and immunization. So vaccination and immunization. So let us first know why it is important. Its importance includes prevention of infectious disease, it produces immunity, it develops immunity in your body. So that how it produces immunity, that we'll discuss in our like while discussing the immunity topic. And it reduces disease spread. So it reduces the spread of the disease, and it successfully control diseases by vaccines. Some of the disease successfully controlled diseases by vaccine. ओके, ये क्या क्या है आपका अब तक किसको हम कंट्रोल कर चुके हैं, मीन्स इराडिकेटेड, रेदर आई कैन से इराडिकेटेड. जो इराडिकेटेड है दैट इज स्मॉल पॉक्स. स्मॉल पॉक्स इज इराडिकेटेड. ओके, बट और कुछ है जो कि पूरी तरह इराडिकेट नहीं हुआ बट पूरा कंट्रोल में है, प्रिवेंटेड है. दैट इज पोलियो, डिप्थेरिया, pneumonia and tetanus. So these are some of the vaccines. Okay, but your smallpox is completely eradicated. Now come to the antibiotics. So the antibiotics, you all know what are antibiotics. So the antibiotics, why it is important? It kills bacteria, treats bacterial infection, reduces mortality. Okay, so this is all about the infectious disease and how to prevent them. So in our next class we'll discuss immunity. Okay, so till then, bye bye, thank you.